Edgar Allan Poe's life reads like one of his own stories, dark, atmospheric, and filled with shadows that never quite let him go. Today, we celebrate him as a literary genius, the father of the detective story, and a pioneer of psychological horror. But behind the brilliance was a man who lived through relentless tragedy, heartbreak, and loss. Poe was born in 1809, and almost immediately, life began taking things away from him. His father abandoned the family. His mother died of tuberculosis before he turned 3. Poe was taken in by the wealthy Allan family, but even that home was never truly stable. He grew up feeling like an outsider, loved at times, rejected at others. This emotional instability shaped the tone of his writing: longing, melancholy, and a constant search for belonging. As a young man, Poe showed extraordinary talent. He wrote with precision, musicality, and a psychological depth ahead of his time. But genius rarely guarantees stability. Poe struggled financially throughout his life. He dropped out of university because he couldn't afford tuition. He joined the army out of desperation. And even when he began publishing, the literary world paid him in praise, not money. The Raven, the poem that made him famous overnight, earned him only a few dollars. Yet Poe kept writing. He wrote because he had to. His imagination was a storm he couldn't turn off. His personal life offered little refuge. Poe married Virginia Clem, his 13-year-old cousin, when he was 27. Despite the age gap, their relationship was tender, affectionate, and deeply emotional. But tragedy struck again. Virginia developed tuberculosis, the same disease that had taken Poe's mother, and Poe watched helplessly as she slowly faded away over 5 painful years. Her illness changed him. His stories grew darker, more desperate, and obsessed with the line between life and death. Works like The Telltale Heart and The Fall of the House of Usher reflect a man grappling with grief he couldn't escape. Poe wasn't just writing horror, he was writing his own emotional reality. When Virginia died in 1847, Poe unraveled. He drifted between cities, struggling with depression. He tried to rebuild his life through new relationships and new writing, but the past never loosened its grip. In October 1849, Poe was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore, wearing someone else's clothes. He died 4 days later. The cause of his death remains one of literature's greatest mysteries. Alcohol, illness, political kidnapping, or even rabies. No theory has ever been confirmed. And yet, despite the tragedy, Poe's legacy is extraordinary. He invented the modern detective story before Sherlock Holmes existed, and shaped the entire genre of psychological horror. He influenced writers from Arthur Conan Doyle to Stephen King, proving literature could explore the darkest corners of the mind. Poe lived in tragedy, but he wrote in brilliance. His life reminds us that art can rise from suffering, and that even the most tormented voices can echo across centuries. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to Literature Literally for more cinematic explorations of the world's greatest writers. Drop a comment telling me which Poe story you want me to break down next, and share this video with a friend. Your support helps bring more powerful stories to life. Thanks for watching.